Good afternoon. My name is David Walker, and I'm the superintendent of Christoval Schools. In a bond project, the school district is the owner. There's the owner, the architect, and the construction manager at risk. They comprise of the design team. My role is to look out for the district and to assist the school board in making sure that we are getting everything that we're paying for, because ultimately this is going to affect our kids. How they're kept safe, how they are educated, how they're prepared for tomorrow, and ultimately it's going to affect their pocketbook and their family's pocketbook. Class sizes and grades vary year to year. Some years we'll have a lot of kids in a grade level, and there's some years where there's smaller enrollment numbers. So there we can accept transfers to help balance out the classrooms. Otherwise, if there's not enough students in a classroom, that would mean we would have to lay off a teacher. It really wouldn't make sense to have a teacher 1 year, lay that person off, and then that person's gone, and then try to have to find someone. So it allows for continuity. And then also, who would want to work for us if they knew that there would be a chance of getting laid off should there be an incoming class with low numbers? Well, the money received, it goes into our general funds. And like I said earlier, it helps balance our budget. You could look at it like this. You could pick 3 areas. Let's say we look at teacher salaries, our maintenance, and transportation. Well, first of all, for our maintenance budget, it pays for our whole maintenance budget. Our transportation budget, it pays for about 86% of that. And for teachers, so that we can be competitive in the area, it allows us to pay $3,000 above the state minimum salary schedule. No, it doesn't. In fact, it allows us to keep the teachers that we have. We place transfer students where we need them to help ensure that there's adequate sizes in our classrooms and in our programs. No, they do not. They help us fill the classrooms and programs that we have already. If enrollment is too low, then there's not enough average daily attendance generated to help fund for the program, the salary benefits, and materials needed for that classroom. So by filling seats, that ensures the continuation of the program and keeping those staff members employed. Yes. However, the revenue received from our transfer students greatly outweighs the cost of having 2 routes. In fact, our total transportation budget for all of our routes is $560,000. The revenue received from our transfer students pays about 86% of this. Well, the transfers comprise of about 24% of our total enrollment, and of the transfers, about 28% of these kiddos are children of our employees, our teachers and faculty. Some of these students started with us as young children, and because of life circumstances, whether if it was through divorce, mother or father losing a job, some of these children have been forced to move into San Angelo and maybe live with a different relative, but they're still our kids. Well, I'll tell you how important it is. Right now, we're really not taking any new transfers except where we need them. You know, we get to pick and choose. Just at the elementary alone, I have at least 8 students, maybe 10, that will have a new home in Christoval by Christmas. Why would I create a disruption in that child's education by saying, no, you can't come here until you have the ribbon cutting ceremony at your home? That's not fair to the child. It's not fair to the teacher. As good of a job that we do, there's always going to be gaps in learning. For example, we could be just now finishing fractions, but where that child's coming from may just now be starting fractions. So that's not fair. So by getting to start with us in August and go a whole school year, and then also matriculate all the way through the school here under our system with our values, our focus, our desire to get these kids ready for the world, wanting to make them marketable and adaptable. Our focus here in Christoval is on careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. Well, it doesn't matter if that kid lives in San Angelo on Bell Street or if they live just south of the high school in one of the new homes. What counts is how many days a year that they're with us. When you remove the number of transfers that we have from just this one area, the school district would lose over $800,000 in revenue. If that were to happen today, the face of Christoval would change. The type of services that we're providing for kids and learning opportunities would change. Staffing would change. There would be a reduction in force, laying people off. So we would still have a school, but it would be a very different school. We need them for deficits in our classrooms for continuity. We are a small school district, so you see from year to year, it's more impactful when there's a large class versus a small class. In larger school systems, you really don't feel it as much, but here we do. I mean, being off by 10 or 20 kids or being off by 5 kids, you feel it. You feel it in your programs. You feel it when we compete academically, co-curricular, and extracurricular. You see that. It would be like if a school, if you just want to look at sports, the example of being right on the verge of being either 11-man or 6-man. Well, just the cost of reconfiguring your football field would be pretty expensive, and it's a whole different strategy and everything else. So we want to be able to maintain the staff that we have and build, and hopefully every year, instead of building from the ground up, we're building from the shoulders of the past to continue on with our excellence. Our STEM and career program, again, it comes down to filling those seats. We do receive money off of the average daily attendance, but for career classes, we also receive weighted funding. Well, for those career pathways to continue, it's sort of like just in college. You've got to fill the seats or the class doesn't make. And it would be very devastating if you had a student that is now entering the 11th grade, but because there's a gap between the 11th and 9th grade, there happens to be a small sophomore class, there's not enough kids generating enough money to where that kid could make it to his or her senior year and earn a certification in that particular pathway, just because there wasn't enough bodies. What's crazy, our STEM kid is also our football kid, small schools. In small schools, staff wears many hats, but also our students wear many hats, and that the kids that are taking robotics and engineering and computer programming, a lot of those kids are the same ones that are playing in the band, playing on the football field or the basketball court, or being active in National Honor Society or our DECA program. Our kids excel in all areas, and that's the beauty of a small school, that you don't have to specialize. But we're doing more than just being a jack of all trades. All of our programs we're winning and competing in, and it's because of how our school system is currently configured. So I need residents, and I need the type of transfers that we have coming in, because we both have families, both residents and transfer families, that have a shared value. They bought into the vision. They bought into to what they want as far as the expectations and everything. So I need that, but I also need it in order to generate funds so that we can have the very best programs and opportunities for our kids.